tonight's celebration of the 800th anniversary of Magna Carta Liberatum, the great charter of the liberties. We're very pleased to have you here this evening with our distinguished panel, and it is going to be an enjoyable and a great learning experience for all of us this evening.
It must be remembered that Section 21 of the Declaration of Rights in the 1776 North Carolina Constitution was part of a Magna Carta tradition of listing guaranteed liberties. Other state constitutions included declarations of rights, and this precedent prompted many to later on demand that an addendum be added to the United States Constitution during the ratification debates. That addendum we call the Bill of Rights. The various Declaration of Rights and the Bill of Rights were products of the Magna Carta tradition, a document with sections guaranteeing certain liberties and ensuring that certain liberties were protected from the Crown or from government encroachment. And the North Carolina Constitution Declaration of Rights was a product of that Magna Carta tradition.
The Mayflower Compact, the fundamental laws of Connecticut in 1639, the acts of the Grand Assembly of Albemarle, the fundamental constitution of North Carolina, as has been mentioned. That was the one in 1696, was the first North Carolina constitution of the colony. Then the Bill of Rights in England first, then the General Assembly, the regal government, the royal government, that was the first General Assembly, then the first Provincial Congress, and then finally we get to the Mecklenburg Declaration of Independence. There's a big argument about whether that is so, but there is some documentation that there was a Declaration of Independence in Mecklenburg County 1 year before the U.S. Declaration of Independence, a year later in July 1776. Then the first Constitution of North Carolina, as Troy mentioned, in the 12th line, basically repeats for us that among the liberties, among the inalienable rights are life, liberty, the enjoyment of the fruits of their own labor, and the pursuit of happiness. That's the Magna Carta. That was the primary concept of the Magna Carta as it came down through the ages.
Magna Carta not only stands at the headwaters of the Anglo-American constitutional tradition, but pays homage to traditions that it inherited, and indeed acknowledges tradition as a form of law and of liberty. Almost never does the Charter claim to innovate. Rather, it promises to restore, often to the time of John's father, Henry II. The famous clauses that promise not to condemn any free man, except by the judgment of his peers or the law of the land, supposes that law of the land already in existence. In April 1215, John had first allowed London to elect its own mayor. But there's no mention of this innovation in Magna Carta. But instead, the citizens of London are promised, quote, their ancient liberties and, quote, free customs. This reproduces and helps to foster the distinctive attitude of common law, I think. Always taking tradition as a baseline, always looking for precedents, always presuming, albeit rebuttably, the wisdom of the law that has been handed down. What could be more different from the suppositions today, if not of our lawyers, at least of our faculties of law, not to mention moral philosophy, where the fact that a rule is traditional is practically treated as an argument against it, a predictor of prejudice rather than enlightenment.
Section 39, this is what is really in our Declaration of Rights and the really most operative part of Magna Carta. No free man shall be seized or imprisoned or stripped of his rights of possession or outlawed or exiled or deprived of his standing in any way, nor will we proceed with force against him or send others to do so, except by the lawful judgment of his equals. That doesn't mean every Tom, Dick, and Harry. That means the equals of this person. The barons did not want a jury trial by the slaves. They wanted it by themselves. So this is not America. Or by the law of the land, or could be and by the law of the land, Professor Vell. But that's very important. In other words, that there shall be a law to be applied. The king cannot just do whatever he wants.